Welcome to video 2 of the Vacarya Masterclass. Here we will be actually starting your business. The first video was a little bit more theoretical, a little bit more drawn out. This one's the polar opposite. This is purely tactical. We are going to set up your company as a whole, meaning company name, company logo, company brand colors, company websites, actually registering the business, opening up a bank account, credit and funding options, all of it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Important, watch the welcome video yet if you haven't, or you'll be missing critical context. You can watch it in 2 times speed if you have to. I know it's long, but you will be missing critical info you will need to progress through this video series. Now, if you're not sure yet that you want to start Airbnb and you still want to learn more about how the business works, I recommend skipping this video for now to keep learning more. I do have to, place this video first though, because technically it's the first step of the process. You will need to come back and watch this before you officially start reaching out to landlords or property management, because obviously you can't reach out on behalf of your company if you don't have one. Anyways, this video is fun. It was fun to make. It's gonna be fun for you guys to make your companies, see them come to life, the brand, the logos, all that stuff. This is the agenda that we will be going through. So creating your brand, as I've said, your name, your logos, your designs, your websites, all of that good stuff. We're going to actually register your business. You obviously can't do business unless you're registered. Only takes a couple minutes, so don't worry about that. And then number 3 is I'm going to give you my advice on business credit and funding and everything that I've learned through the years as it pertains to Airbnb arbitrage. I think I might have a little bit of a more conservative view compared to other people in the Airbnb space or just online space in general. But regardless, if used correctly, business credit and funding is ridiculously powerful in a model like this. So regardless if you go forth with credit, don't go forth with credit, it's 100% in your best interest to know the options. So first things first, creating your brand. This is the fun part. You get to name your company, give it a look, create its brand and company colors, but also understand there is a very important reason this comes first. Landlords do not work with random people asking if they can Airbnb their property. I promise you, they will simply tell you no. But they are open to leasing with companies that are organized, professional, and serious. Now, the first step to being organized, professional, and serious is looking the part, because if you look like a real business, you will get treated as one. Now, you do not need to get it perfect. Okay, you just need to get it done, and preferably today. It's fun, you can follow along. It only takes, 30 minutes or so. And starting matters way more than polish here. Okay, that's the point I really want to get across. Build it now, refine it later. If you remember mine from the first video, look at the god-awful logo I have and the branding I have at the top there from what I initially started when I made that on. I don't even know what I made that on, all the way down to what it became today. And I say that because when you're first starting a business, it's easy to get caught up in this stuff because it feels like good progress. But as an entrepreneur, your time will be best used on high leverage tasks that actually will drive the needle forward for your business, not on, trying to perfect your logo the first time around, right? It'll organically become what it's supposed to become as you go down the rabbit hole of business. So just get something started, get something clean, and then move on so we can start analyzing properties, start reaching out to landlords, running some numbers, and ultimately actually getting you a property so you make money. That's the goal, right? By the end of this video, you will have a company name, a logo, a real brand, and a real business presence. Keep this playing on one tab and build yours in the other as we go. Pause if necessary. As I said, it takes only 30 minutes. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to follow along, but I recommend that you do. When you finish yours, post it in the community and I will provide feedback if you like. It is also just an easy way to level up to gain access to the rest of the modules. As you know from the first video, you just make your introduction post. The template's right below that first video. So if you do that intro post and then you do this post, I can just about guarantee you'll be level 2. Then you have access to our Monday.com boards, 40 hours of additional training. You're on your way to getting the one-on-one call with me. So it's a lot of benefits just from doing this. And you also get good feedback, right? So creating your brand. We are going to be creating your company name. So choosing a name that sounds professional, and my recommendations based on experience. Your company logo. So how to easily create a logo you are happy with today. Company branding and colors. So choosing your colors and fonts so everything stays consistent across the business. Company email. Easy, cheap email setup so you can start reaching out to landlords professionally instead of as joeblow.gmail, right? Like you don't want to be a random guy trying to reach out. That's how you get laughed at, like how I got laughed at. I don't want that for you. Company website, how to quickly get a simple, clean website set up without technical skills for web design, etc. People usually tend to procrastinate on the web design. It's really easy, and I'm going to show you a really easy way to do it. We're just going to outsource it. Final reminder, this does not need to be perfect, guys. I already said this, but over the next couple of years, you will naturally make changes, rebrand, and adjust things as the business takes shape. You can even add a DBA later and change the company name entirely. What matters right now is having something. Spending a lot of time on this is a poor use of your time as a new entrepreneur. Get it done and move on. You want to constantly be thinking every morning when you wake up, what is the one thing I can do today that will bring me closer to my goal, whatever the goal is for you. But in most cases, it's not refining your logo. Do you know what I mean? It's probably researching the markets, just simply reaching out to more landlords, running the numbers again. Those are the high leverage tasks for you at this time, right? So we don't have to perfect this. We just need to get something so you look legitimate, you come off as professional to the landlords and property managers that you will reach out to. So number one is naming your company. Chapter 1. On a macro level, there are generally 2 ways to name a company. There are 9 or something, but it's not really relevant for this, right? One is industry specific. The name clearly signals what you do. So for example, housing, real estate, short-term rentals, Airbnb, hospitality, all of that stuff that we do. The other is a more generic approach, a name that is not tied to one specific activity. Vacarya, for example, or Nike. The point I'm trying to get at is on the left, you can take a look and clearly understand what it is. Donuts. It's probably a coffee shop. There's a coffee logo there, right? My logo is a house. They probably have something to do with houses. On the right side, Nike, not so much, right? For a business like this, it usually makes sense to lean industry specific. You want to be immediately associated with housing and short-term rentals and hospitality and all that stuff. The name alone should frame this before you ever explain anything. More generic names make sense when a company operates across multiple areas. So think of companies like Nike, for example. They are in running and basketball and golf and tennis and everything, really. It's Nike. But if their logo or name were tied to just one of those, it wouldn't really work. It doesn't really make sense. And in some scenario, you grow into, this huge hospitality company or whatever, where you need a more generic approach, you can just rebrand. You can just do it. Okay. For now, we just need a clean, concise logo, name, all that stuff. So when landlords and property management take a look, they clearly understand who you are and what you offer. That's all. No need to overcomplicate it. I will say though, the one caveat is if your priority is maximizing funding right from the start, a more generic name can make sense. It allows you to register under a broader business activity that is generally viewed as lower risk than real estate, which can make accessing funding easier. Just a consideration. I'll touch base on this a bit more later in this video, but it's not really a big deal. To me, this is kind of like a paradox where if you have business experience, you can look in retrospect and understand that, that will probably get me more funding. That'll probably make more sense. But for someone starting out, this probably is not like your best use of focus. Just get started and start reaching out and start making money. Do you know what I mean? Nonetheless, I'll touch base on that a bit later. So your action step now is to pause the video and put this prompt into ChatGPT and see what clicks. Create 30 company name ideas for an Airbnb hosting and short-term rental business using only these 3 methods. Okay. Combine 2 familiar words people associate with Airbnb and hosting. Stays, hosting, rentals, homes, getaway, suites, living, short-term, you know what I mean, right? Number 2, initials and a housing word. For example, AW & Co. housing, or AW properties, or AW rentals, AW stays, it all works. Number 3, fuse 2 words into one brand name like Vacarya, so vacation plus Aria. It sounds clean and easy to say. Aria was Aaron's original short-term rental company, Aria Stays, plus vacation equals Vacarya. That's a bit of Vacarya lore. I think it means more like vicariously. Investors get to experience, leverage our systems. You kind of get the point, right? Guests get a home away from home. I don't know. I like vicariously. And number 4 is simple neutral service names that sound normal. Okay, this would be like Northview, Ridge Point. I would probably go that route if I was going to use a bit more of a generic logo, generic business activity. Again, I'll get to that. So the rules, 2 to 3 words maxed. Make every name easy to say and spell, nothing weird. Avoid Airbnb in the name, obviously, because you're a hospitality company, not an Airbnb company. And give me a short list of your top 10. I also have alternatively pause this video and simply look around. Remember, I found my company name Walk Me in the Mall. I used to go to a gym in Oshawa in the basement at A Good Life, and I would come upstairs. Here's the food court. Like, you'd walk up into the food court. Sometimes I would just like get a banana and I'd just walk around for a second. And there was a RW and Co store right there, like right when you walk up the stairs. And I was like, RW, AW, yeah, all cool. I'm AW and Co. So if I go to ChatGPT, combine 2 familiar hosting words, AW housing, AW properties. Anyways, you get the point, right? You're not going to probably find your logo or the name you want to work with right off the bat, but you can pick your favorite, mix and match, and keep giving prompts, and you'll eventually find something that you think is good. And like, I use this every time. Like, I named my company in Dubai like this. Every time someone asks me for help for a name, I send them this. So like, this works. So just pick your top 3. I like Staylux. Sweetie's kind of a little bit tech AI. Let's try a couple more. I like Stay Haven. Let's see. Stay Haven Homes, Stay Haven Living, I like Stay Haven Hospitality, I think. Stay Haven Hospitality. That sounds good to me. So we'll go with that. You probably won't find yours, like I said, in the second prompt, first prompt, but go down the rabbit hole, try and get a little bit creative based on the prompt I gave you and come up with something. And remember, you can always just add a DBA in the future if you choose to. Doing business as is what DBA means. So just change your name. So yeah, pause the video now, go through the prompts a bit, and let me know what you find. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you found a few names that you could work with. Next, we're going to go to name.com/domain/search and simply just check if the domain name is available, because you have the name, but you also want something clean for your website, your email, all that stuff, right? Like stayhaven.com. Now, it's unlikely that I'm going to get stayhaven.com. It probably sounds like it's been taken, but I can probably get stayhavenhospitality.com. Right? So if you can get your name right on the dot, that's awesome for branding. If you have to add hospitality or properties or whatever, it's totally okay. Just make it look clean, okay? Make it .com, not .co, not AI, not IO, right? .com. So when I click name here, we're not buying anything or anything like that, by the way. We're simply just looking, right? Just to see if it's available. So I guess someone, I don't know if Stay Haven's an actual company or whatever. Stay Haven is obviously purchased by someone, and it's very expensive. We're not going to be doing that. Let's go hospitality. There we go. So Stay Haven Hospitality is available for super cheap. We're not going to pay attention to these prices or anything. I was just using this as a quick filter, a quick search, just to see if it's available. We'll handle the domain stuff after. But just confirm that one of your names that you've chosen is available or something close to it. For me, I have Stay Haven Hospitality. It looks clean, gets the point across, professional. So we're going to, for the duration of this course, I guess, be Stay Haven. So if your domain is available, so you picked a name, you checked on Namecheap, it's available, congratulations. And I mean that. You know what business to start, and you now have a company name. Most people do not get here. And I know you might think like I'm kidding or being corny. Like, this is actual progress. Like, you have the business you want to start, which most people never ever get to, and you have the name for said business. Like, this is tangible progress. Next up, we're going to make a logo, creating your logo and branding. So there are a lot of different logo styles, but similar to naming your company on a macro level for where you are right now, I only want you to think about industry specific versus just more generic logos, okay? You don't have to get granular on like the actual types of logos. I'm just saying industry versus generic. I recommend making a logo with associations to housing, real estate, Airbnb, hospitality, all that stuff. Like if I just type house logo, there's a bunch of stuff like this. And again, your only goal here is to signal professionalism to your landlords and property managers, right? Down the road, you can work with a professional to take what you already have and make everything cleaner. My goal, I think I'm beating a dead horse now, is just to get you in the game. We're just going to throw something together, okay, something clean. After making the few logos myself, I worked with a professional to kind of create my brand logo, all that stuff as we started to scale pretty big. And how that usually works is you kind of send them your logo, your company name, like the things you want to be associated with, all that good stuff, and they will create it based on what you already have. So you're laying the foundation for what your future logo or future business will look like anyways. The unskippable cutscene. Anyways, my recommendations for creating version 1 of your logo are any of these. I really don't care which one you use. Canva.com, a lot of you guys, well, not a lot, but some of you guys probably already have Canva subscriptions. You can just use it for free too. It's like really good free as well. Looka.com, I like Looka as well. And then logo.com, they all pretty much do the same thing. So I'll go over these and show you very quickly just to give you a sense of it. And again, ideally pause the video here after I show you these 3 and then create your logo. As you can see, even if I just Google, right, these top 3 show up anyways. So these are pretty much just the top 3 logo websites, right? So I started with logo.com here, Stay Haven. It's perfect. Tell us more about your industry. Let's just say real estate. Skip, add a relevant symbol. House, oops. House, Airbnb. I think house and Airbnb is probably pretty good. Pick your branding colors. Geez, I'll use green for now. I'm a business owner. I'm starting. I'll skip the stuff. They're just trying to get your information to sell you something. Don't worry. So right off the bat, it's pretty good. It's not perfect, obviously, but you get the point, right? Some of these are actually pretty clean. I actually really like this one, but it's a bit more generic what we're trying to accomplish, right? After playing around with it for a bit, I found something pretty clean. You can simply click on any logo that you see on the main thing and edit it a bit further with all the different logos and styles, whatever, till you find something you like. Obviously, when you click Get Logo, it's going to cost something, but I mean, like, it's cheap. You can download your logos, you can print them and all the stuff. They got a bunch of packages, and honestly, Looka is the exact same thing. It's basically the exact same design editor, right? There's the same brand. If you type it in, you're gonna get to the exact same editor. Stay Haven. See, it's all the same, right? If you're really on a budget, I mean, you screenshot this, like, there, I just screenshotted it. Now I have Stay Haven as a logo. On Canva, a little bit different. I really like Canva, to be honest with you. But as you can see, you can just pop something up. I think this is actually the logo that I have in the first one, hey? I didn't even know. That's crazy. I think this is the one I used for AW & Co Housing. Anyways, you can just make a logo just like that, okay? Don't overthink it. After you have your logo, I want you to pick 2 colors, 3 colors, preferably 2 or 3, to just pick colors you like for your branding or what you want to be associated with. And then also a font. We'll be using these on the company pitch deck that I'm going to provide to you, the websites, the company one-pager, everything, right? So take a second, get a couple colors that you like, a couple greens, a couple blues, fonts that you like that you're going to use across the board for your company, and you're good to go. After you've done that, like I just said, you've picked your brand colors, your fonts, your logo, feel free to use our template below. I've added it right below this video to put it all in one place. Now, when you create something, like your pitch decks and your websites, all that stuff, you can easily refer to it. So if I just click the template here, edit template for ULB View, you just make a copy, boom, and then just replace your logo there, add your few colors, add your fonts that you use, and then you have a reference and template for any time that you make anything, or if you ever give something to a designer or anything like that, you just send them this. That's really all there is to it, guys, on logo creation. As I said, don't spend too long. Just use Looka or logo.com or Canva. Get your logo going, get some colors, get some fonts, and we're off to the races. Next up is creating your company email. So the next step is to set up your company email using Google Workspace. Do not skip this, guys. When the time comes to reach out to landlords, it is extremely unlikely you'll get a yes if you are emailing from @Hotmail or @Gmail email address. It's just not likely. Like aiden@hotmail.com. They're going to tell me to kick rocks or laugh. A professional email signals that you are an established business because you are an established business. At least you will be by the end of this video series. Now, to do this, you will need to purchase your domain name and Google Workspace. This is very cheap. Less than a Netflix subscription, okay? And I mean this with all due respect, okay? If you are not willing to invest under $20 into your business, where I, who have done this hundreds of times, am step by step helping you, giving you the exact steps, then I mean, like objectively, it's unlikely that you're gonna win. And I'm just being real with you. Worst case scenario, you lose $20, you cancel everything next month, and you proceed as if you already were. Like nothing changes. I promise you, I've spent $20 on worse things. Best case scenario, you make millions and work from anywhere with a Wi-Fi connection. So there's a little risk reward profile for you right there. $20, the chance to potentially make millions of dollars. You see where I'm coming from. So we're going to do this together. We're going to head to workspace.google.com. Here we are. We're just going to click get started. It's not my email, it doesn't work anymore. So we're going to create a new account and we're going to name it Stay Haven Hospitality. Just you, region, I'm in Dubai right now. We are going to get a new custom domain. Search domain names. So we're going to use the one that we used on Namecheap, right? Stay Haven Hospitality, because we know it's available anyways. And it's available for $1 a month. So that's great. As you grow, of course, for now, it'll just be name at Stay Haven Hospitality, but it could be sales, it could be acquisitions, partnerships, anything, right? Next, we're going to register your business. If you want to wait till your business is registered before you do this, you can, depending on if you're registered in a different state, stuff like that. But you can also just use your home address. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and type mine in. Next, you're just going to make a username, password, and then confirm it. Of course, I'm going to type mine in. Aiden at Stay Haven Hospitality. Sure. Don't even know what password that is, but it doesn't really matter. Good to go. Never. All right. So Google knows how to make a lot of money. Obviously, they're a billion-dollar company. They automatically are going to suggest this plan, the business standard, for $16, plus your $1 a month for the domain. This is not the lowest tier. This is, they're just recommending this because most people will start and then stay and then never stop, and they'll make a lot of money. So for you, I want you to click try free for 14 days. And then from there, you can go into the settings and just change it down to the business starter option. It's $8, I believe, at the time of this recording. And that's all you need, just a clean business email. Doesn't even matter. All we need this for is for when you reach out, you look like a professional. You're all in at about $9 a month right now. Not too bad. I'm going to exit out of this now, but obviously you click try free, then go to the settings, then change the business starter. Follow through with your domain being set up. Google will host it all. It's super, super easy, so don't worry about that. And then your last step for the email is just to make a basic email signature. I strongly recommend making one anyways. You can do this on like Canva, places like that, but there's a couple of really good websites that are just meant for signatures. I suggest you use one. I like this one. It's called signature.email. I'm sure they're all good. This is just one that I've used, so I can't really recommend something I haven't used before. But you can also just check on Google. I'm sure they're all the same. And then you just need something clean. Obviously, I've taken out my email and phone number here. But again, guys, it takes 2 seconds. You get a photo of yourself. My changes to Stay Haven. I'm the founder of Stay Haven now. Maybe whatever my brand colors are for Stay Haven, I change these to that just for consistency. And you're good. You go on Google and you just add that in the settings as your signature. And if you don't have a professional photo taken of you yet, like a LinkedIn style photo, for now, okay, don't keep this forever, but unless it's really good. But for now, you can just use a software like Headshot Pro. There's a bunch of them, and just like upload a bunch of photos of yourself, and it'll spit out a decent professional photo. I mean, it shoots out millions. Well, not millions, but it shoots out hundreds. And some of them are like absolutely like uncanny valley, but some of them look like just like you. And then just take the best one, throw it in your email signature for now, add it to your Google email you just purchased, and you are in the game. Next up is your company website. So I think this is super important, but obviously I have seen people succeed early on without it. Most of the time it gets delayed though, simply because people don't want to deal with it. Like they think like it's like a big hassle to do web design. So I have made this as easy as possible for you. And again, understand this does not need to be fancy or perfect at all, okay? It just needs to be a clean one-page site that clearly highlights what you offer. That's it. Since all of your early traffic will come from Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, that stuff, this site is mainly for face value, okay? You just need to look professional landlords and property managers. It just needs to exist. You know, to give you guys a contrast, right? Us, for the brand of Vacarya, branding and the websites and stuff are much more important because we're branding for travelers as well. Like you're just trying to look legit for a property management company. We need to have a brand that guests want to stay at, people want to become clients for, landlords want to work with, right? It's a lot more intricate. So this is our direct booking website that we get, a lot of bookings through for our clients. But for you, right, you're going to be more in line with like my first company, right? So that's why I've done this. To make this easy, go to my first company's website, www.awcohousing, and feel free to use the writing and copy exactly as it is. You can literally take the wording word for word if you wish. So we're going to take a look. Here it is, AW & Co., Hospitality Redefined. About us, right? You can click into that if you want. Why choose us? What we offer. Corporate travel, leisure rentals, the AW code difference, some reviews at the bottom. Like if you just get this, guys, that's perfect. I have stuff like this. Like I went over the top because I was learning. I just made all these mistakes. About us, YAW & Co., our locations, partnership, like all of this stuff. Like if I go into partnership here, it's basically the pitch deck again. Our tenancy process, about our clients. This is over the top. This is unnecessary. I don't think any of this stuff, aside from the initial landing page, has helped me by even 1%, to be honest with you. So just get a nice, clean one-pager like just my main page, and you'll be good to go. Now to do this, we are going to use Fiverr and have someone just build out this one-page site for you. Okay, there is absolutely no reason for you to learn a skill like web design. It doesn't serve your business in any way. Web designers and developers are everywhere, right? This is something that you'll do once every, I don't even know, once in a blue moon, you'll do something like this. You'll just outsource it, okay? We're going to outsource it. So we're going to send them your logo, brand colors, fonts, everything you created today. You're going to send them my website as a reference and just ask them to keep it a single page. This takes a couple of days, so do it now and let this website, let it happen in the background, right? Let them build in the background and then send you the finished product in a few days. So we use Fiverr, a fair bit for outsourcing little stuff. So I automatically get put to Fiverr Pro. You'll just get put to Fiverr. It's all the same. And we're just going to type in website development. And that's it. Just find someone that can build a simple one page, okay? You don't have to pay any crazy amount, okay? Just a simple one page. They can all do it. If you want, my 2 cents working with places like this, I would go for like a level 2, even level 1. No, I would go for like a level 2 here, get it for like $100. $100, this is a Canadian, guys, so it's like $120 US, less than $100 US. And they'll write you up a nice clean one. The top rated ones are professionals. That is just outside your scope of work. This isn't even going to, I want you to understand, this is not even going to equate to more money or nothing, okay? This is just going to, it's a waste of time, okay? You just need a simple one pager from someone that's around a level 2 that can just make it clean, fast, efficient, and get it right to the point. That's it. So I suggest that you do this right now. Just reach out and say, hey, I have a project for you. Here's www.awcohousing. You can copy it to a T. Just add my brand colors and my logo. And they'll make it. It's easy for them. So at $100 USD, 114, let's say you're $110 in at this point, okay? Maybe a bit more if you get a little bit more expensive, but as of now, you're $110, $120, $150, and you have your name, your logo, your domain purchase, your email signature, your headshots, your design, your website being built. Like, it's a good bang for your buck right now. So if you're still with me, congratulations. And again, I mean that. You've decided what business you're starting. You have set up your company name, logo, branding, email, your website's now in the works. Most people talk about starting a business for years. I'm sure you've heard it yourself. You've heard it in your peers, your family, all of that, right? And you may think I'm just saying this, but I'm truly wholeheartedly not. At Vacarya, we speak to people all the time who want to start a business every day. Every day I meet people. They're like, oh, I really want to get into it. Okay. It's just talk. Taking action on this first step, assuming you've done so, has already separated you from most people. You are no longer thinking about starting a business. Oh, one day. Oh, right? You have already started. So kudos to you. Small steps like this is what compounds, is what snowballs into these big businesses and these big entrepreneurs that you see, they all started the same way. It was this. Now let's carry this momentum into the final step, okay? Registering your business. So don't get overwhelmed over this, okay? This is honestly easy. We're gonna pick your structure. 95% of you will just want an LLC unless you are in a particular situation. Keep it simple for now. Canadians have a couple options I'll quickly discuss after. 99 out of 100 people will just want an LLC. We're going to officially register said LLC. So we're going to match the name you bought for the domain and email and register your LLC online to make it official. We will walk through this together. You're going to get your tax ID. So in the US, the tax ID is an EIN number for your business. We're going to get your EIN number so you can then use that to open bank accounts, apply for credit building, funding, all that stuff if you wish. You're a registered agent, so I'm just going to tell you what a registered agent is and your setup options. This is like super insignificant, but you do have to technically have it. And then we're going to open up a business bank account. So separate money from day one, no mixing personal funds. You don't want to start getting messy, having money coming into your personal accounts and your business. Oh, okay. We're just going to set up a business bank account. Takes only a couple minutes. So pick your structure. Big disclaimer though, this is for educational purposes only, and this is not financial legal advice. I really don't want to get sued here. Trying to help you guys, saying Aiden said do this, Aiden said do that. This is for educational purposes only. 99% of you will want to open an LLC unless you have a very specific situation. If you do not already know that you need something different, you are very likely not in that situation and can simply open the LLC. An LLC is a limited liability company. It separates you personally from the business, meaning the business operates under its own name and structure. It is simple to set up, easy to manage, and works well for most people starting out. It pays its own taxes and provides legal protection by separating business activity from your personal assets. Now, again, this is not financial advice, and I'm being purely hypothetical here. When you do open up this business and you have a hospitality company, you have inventory, consumables, rent payment, utilities, tons of furniture, you have to travel, that you're in multiple cities, you're in another city, you have to travel, meaning you have tons and tons of things that you can expense. In your personal life, you have a lot of things that overlap with that. So it would not be weird, you would not be scrutinized if maybe your personal residence or your vacation flights or any furniture you bought personally was ran through that business because it is exactly in line with the transactions that business should do. This also saves you a ton of money in taxes, even outside of the expenses, because you can have the money sit in the LLC, sit in the corporation's account that has much lower taxation. And then it is up to you how much you choose to pay yourself. So you go from having no control, just getting taxed out the ass on your W-2 or T4 if you're Canadian, to suddenly having a lot of control of the flow of your money, right? Just let it sit in the corp. Pay yourself as needed. I will leave you with this. Every dinner, every outing, there's a business dinner. Moving on. For my Canadians, you have two options, okay? You can set up a US LLC, as you will in the next chapter, and just keep the funds in the US. Okay? Or you can set up a GP-LP structure in the US, which allows you to bring money back to Canada without being taxed twice. There is no right or wrong, just goal dependent. The second option requires help from an accountant or lawyer, but it is straightforward. You are just signing the documents. So how that works with the structure is you'll set up a GP-LP and then you'll have your Canadian holding co involved in that. So the money that comes from the limited partnership, you can send it to Canada, that holding company, and it triggers free flow taxation because of the structure that you have. And then the money is in Canada, and then how you decide to pay yourself is totally up to you. If you are set up as a US LLC, it's kind of a long-term play. If you don't plan to pay yourself for a little bit, it might make sense. I know tons of people that have done this and had success. I know clients that have done this and have had success. So it's not like you can't win if you have one or the other. I'm just telling you the options. The first one, you're just bootstrapped on when you can pay yourself and how you can pay yourself personally, because you'll get taxed on the foreign income, right? There's a reoccurring theme that you will hear throughout these videos, and it's money loves speed, okay? Money loves execution. So to be fair, I really don't care which one you do. It's not going to make or break at all your success in this business, but procrastinating and, freaking out, trying to figure out which way to go will. If you plan on staying in Canada for quite a while, I'd probably go with two, just to be honest. And for Vacarya clients, we provide this actually as part of our service. So we just give you access to our full accounting cross-border lawyer network. So everything is handled for you. We actually just handle that. We'll set up the GPLP, all of that stuff. You just have to sign some documents with our lawyer, Mark, have a quick call with the accountant, and wait for your EIN to be mailed to you, and you're in the game. That's it. Obviously, this is a big advantage to our clients, but right now, you're not a client, right? The goal here is to help you win on your own. So if you have questions about anything to do with registering your business at all, right, entity setup structure, which you likely will, drop a post in the community or just send me a DM and I'll do my best to help you out. I am not an expert in law, that's for sure, but I am a pretty good parrot. I've heard enough from our lawyers, I've heard enough from our accountants that I fundamentally know what to do. So yeah, I'll help you out the best I can. And at the bottom here, I have, if you need access to a lot of funding at the beginning, in Canada, it does make sense to set up the GPLP structure because you can use your Canadian credit to get funding and then use that in the US. Anyways, it is also in your best interest to secure your ITIN. This is your US tax number, similar to a SIN number in Canada. The earlier you get it, the better, especially because it allows you to start building personal credit in the US. I recommend using Frugal Flyer, not an affiliate or anything like that. It's really just the one I used way back when. That's why I just send people because it's the one I've used. frugalflyer.ca/ITIN. They have all the documents nice. You just sign some stuff on digitally and then mail it off to the service in the US. That's all there is to it. Moving on. Now we are going to officially register your business. So up to this point, you've been learning. This is where you decide whether you're going to actually do anything with it. There is very little downside here. I really want to get that point across. In your head, a lot of people will think that like opening a company is a big step, like it's this big deal that you're all in, like you burn the bones, like that's it. The company simply dissolves on its own and nothing happens if you don't move forward from here. Okay, it's just worth knowing. Like this is obviously a pivotal step that you're making a commitment, but assuming this doesn't work out, nothing happens. You can either call and just close your corporation or your LLC or your LP, whatever, or if you've made 0 transactions of any sort, which you haven't, and you won't if you don't succeed, just let it dissolve. So this is actually like, this doesn't matter. But if you don't try, you don't even give yourself a chance to win. I remember this part so clearly. Like if I hadn't taken this step, if I didn't reach out to those lawyers, get all this stuff, I'd still be sitting in the same bunker at the same power plant with no windows, with that stupid buzzing light I can still hear, and the 2 people beside me still arguing about overtime if I didn't take this chance. So like I'm stacking the odds in your favor here, and you are as well from watching the videos, but you got to get up to bat and swing, man. Yeah, swing. So register your business, guys. The risk is low, the upside here is uncapped, and you have me helping you to the best of my ability. Open up a tab and follow along with me, okay? The first thing to do is open a browser and go to LegalZoom.com or ZenBusiness.com. Canadians opting in for an LLC can use TaylorBrands.com. As I said, GPLP structure, you will have to contact a cross-border accountant, lawyer, that stuff, a little bit more intricate. Other sites work the exact same, I imagine, as LegalZoom, ZenBusiness. Like there's a bunch of them. They're just business registering businesses. These are simply the ones I've used. So I'll walk you through as much as I can before it wants me to pull out my credit card for the final register. Let's go take a look. LegalZoom. Oh yeah, I am in the UAE right now. I'm in Dubai, so I have to change that to the US. My IP address got me. Okay. US legal help in the United States. Business formation. You can go through all this stuff on your own time, obviously, if you want to learn more about LLCs and C Corps and S Corps and all that stuff. We're just going to click limited liability company. Stay Haven Hospitality. Actually, we'll put Stay Haven, like that. Stay Haven will be in Delaware. Now again, I'm not an accountant or anything of such, but my personal opinion is that you should register your company in Delaware. Again, not really a make or break. I know people that have registered in Wyoming, Texas, their own state. Like right here, it says most customers form in their own state, extremely common. But about 60% of the Fortune 500 companies are registered in Delaware. I think LegalZoom even has a page on this. It's just a very good legal system for corporate law. It says right here, this is partly because the court operates without jury, so the judges rely more on legal precedent and business principles rather than persuasion. Google, Amazon, JP Morgan, Chase. I mean, you can look through this your own time. I don't want to sway you one way or the other way. Again, guys, money loves speed. I just want you to start. Before we click next, though, Delaware does have one additional step in regards to getting a virtual mailbox there. But other than that, that's it. If you don't want to go down the rabbit hole, just open the LLC in your local state. You're still going to make money. Everything's good. You're not going to get sued. Like, you're fine. We're executing here. Just make a decision. Okay, take 5 minutes, make a decision, and then just move on. Local state, Delaware, Wyoming, Texas, whatever. I think Delaware. And again, you can look at Zen Business. You can look at all the sites if you wish. Right now, we're just going to use the basic one for $0. These are smart companies, right? They're going to compact everything that you have to do to register into a package, and they're going to upsell you on it. That's how they make their money. And this does make stuff easier, like, to be honest. So if you want to, pay the money, by all means, go for it. But I didn't, and I think we did okay. So you can just click form on the basic one. We're going to skip that because they just want your information to send you stuff. We are going to be a real estate. Well, let's do real estate for now. Let's keep your real estate business compliance. Yep. No, we do not need to do that. Another way, they're just trying to upsell you. As I said, if you do want to use this stuff, it is convenient. You get your EIN right here. You get your operating agreement. You don't need an operating agreement or any of that stuff. But when you're just starting, this does handle everything. So up to you. We're going to go ahead and click no thanks because we don't need any of that. You can proceed with this. I love Mercury. I actually like Bank of America too. I'm going to talk about the bank account quickly at the end. But if you do want to proceed with this, you totally can. No thanks. Expedited processing, again, this is totally up to you. No, I don't want a founder's kit. Keep going. And we land here. So the only thing we're paying for here is the Delaware filing fees, okay? LegalZoom makes all its money from all those upsells along the way. They're facilitating everything. But we're paying LegalZoom $0. We're just paying for the filing fees for Delaware. That's it. I obviously can't continue the checkout here, but obviously just throw a card on file and pay for the Delaware filing fees, and you're officially registered in Delaware. Remember, if you're registering outside your state, you do need a virtual mailbox of some sort. I'll go through that with you in a second. And if you are in your local state, you can just use your home address for your business. The one that I use, actually Vacarya uses, most of our clients use, is physicaladress.com. There's really nothing to it. Just click the state that you wanted to register in our scenario, Delaware, and then you have a address for your business. That's really all there is to it. After that, we are going to get your EIN. For Canadians, this will just get mailed to you. If you are set up with a lawyer like GPLP for the US and the Canadians opening up on the US side on their own, you will have to go to the actual website and just apply. It takes a second. If you noticed, if you did, by chance purchase anything on LegalZoom or Zen Business or any of those, EIN was an option there where it'll facilitate all this stuff for you. So if you did do any of that, this is probably handled. But if you didn't and you just got the filing fees like I went through in this video, all we have to do is just go to EIN-tax-ID-application.us. From there, click limited liability company. Just fill out the basic form, and then really that's it. And then you'll get your EIN. If any of this is overwhelming you, you can just use one of the services like in LegalZoom or in Zen Business, where they'll handle all of it. But I think it's pretty straightforward. All we gotta do is get the EIN. Nothing you guys can't do. And then you're good. Now we're going to talk about your registered agent. So for big businesses, okay, there's a specific address where all of their legal and, office documents will go. That place is called the registered agent. For you, the state simply just needs to know where to send legal mail. The only caveat is it needs to be in the state you're registered in, which is why I just showed you the physical address. Like think Meta or Google or Amazon, and however many buildings they have under acquisition or they just rent or all that stuff, there obviously has to be one building or one address to send where their legal department is. That's the registered agent. For you, obviously, you're the marketer, you're the accountant, you're everything on this first year. You're legal, so it's just going to go to you. Anyways, you have two options. Number one, register in your state and simply use your home address as the registered agent. This is the cheapest. And number two is register in a preferred state and use a registered agent service or virtual mailbox. Recommended. Ultimately, which route you go honestly doesn't matter. It's much more important to start than to worry about this. It's not like you're going to get sued for leasing the properties. I just want to make sure that I've given you all the information necessary to make decisions. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or like you feel like this is too many steps, just register in your local state and just keep it moving. It doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter. But, I do know this stuff. So I think it's a disservice if I didn't tell you. That's all. Lastly, we're just going to open up a business bank account. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one as it's pretty straightforward. Simply open a business account with your preferred bank. That's all there is to it. I believe starting a relationship with Chase early makes the most sense because of their credit offerings, which I'll get into in a second. But like some of you guys probably have, long-term history with banks for like 15 years. You probably got your first bank account when you were like 14, 15. Or some of you guys have big line of credits, or you have, houses or investments with certain banks and stuff. So use whatever bank you want. Use the bank that you want to use. I have just noticed that Chase in particular does offer some pretty big funding options, especially when they see that you are like a legitimate business doing some fair numbers. They'll just throw money at you. Chase has some good 0% APR cards. I spoke about in the first video. I'll speak again in about 5 minutes about. So yeah, an honorable mention that I personally love though that I will talk about quickly is Mercury. It's a 100% free digital bank, free ACH transfers, free controls for adding team members, spending limits, extremely user-friendly. And from a pure banking standpoint, it's so clean. I still keep money in my Mercury account today. So unless you already have a long-standing relationship with your bank where it makes sense to continue, I'd probably run a mix of Mercury and Chase. No bank even comes close to Mercury in terms of its online and digital capabilities. It's literally not even close. Obviously, I don't know if I want millions of dollars in just this digital bank compared to something like Chase or Bank of America. But yeah, you should definitely check it out. You can just do it online. It takes literally 5 minutes. For my Canadians though, you'll need to use either Mercury Bank, which I just spoke about, or Relay Bank. In most cases for traditional US banks, since you aren't a resident, you will need to set up in person. Is kind of just how it goes. Sometimes they want the business to have a year or so in operating as well. So for example, you go to do the application, you put in your ITIN instead of the SSN number, and they say, wait, I realize you're not a resident, you have to come in. If you guys live close to the border, like Toronto to Buffalo, or you're just in the US, you could always just walk in and set up. But sometimes they're a little bit stringent. Canada to US is weird setting up the bank accounts, just my opinion, because they ask questions. They're like, well, how long have you been in the US? I don't know. I came here for the first time when I was 3. Because you just go back and forth between Canada and US, right? Anyways, you'll need a virtual address to do this generally. I used physicaladdress.com, like I just said, and made the mailbox in Delaware. And then I also made Delaware my registered agent. So when you open up your account, it'll ask you for a US address. You just type that in, and that's all you need. I think you need to do a very quick video call, literally 45 seconds, just so they can verify you. That's it. Takes a second. But yeah, those are the only 2 bank accounts, or the banks that I know of, that will let you open as a foreign 100% owner of a US business without any going in person or any you can just go online and open it. Which actually just reminds me, for your registered agent, you can use physical address as well, free registered agent in Delaware. So when you set up the business mailbox, you automatically get the registered agent. They make it really easy. Anytime you receive a document, which is really far and few, or the odd utility bill, something like that, they just scan it and then upload it to your mailbox as if it was digital for you. No biggie. That's it. If you've been following along, this is the moment it stops being theoretical. You are officially in business and an entrepreneur by definition. Welcome to the game. Now we build business credit and funding, the last chapter. So before we begin, this isn't advice to get funding or to avoid it, okay? Fundability is a tool, and whether you use it depends on your goals and where you're at. My role here is just to show you the options and the facts so you can make an informed decision. That's it. Everyone in the Airbnb space online screams, get funding easy or 0% APR. And, they say this on the top of the mountain, right? And the reason they do this is because it makes you more qualified to pay for their course, program, coaching, whatever, after the fact, right? That's why so many people push funding first, and why nearly every coach, quote unquote, has a connection with a credit expert of some sort who's also just a coach. So do I think funding is great? Yes. Access to funding is obviously valuable. So if you're ever in a scenario where people are pushing, get funding, you can do X, Y, Z, just understand where people's incentives lie when making decisions. That's all. Capital magnifies the decisions you make, but used poorly, it amplifies mistakes. But when the foundation is right, access to capital becomes a huge advantage. So if you want to pursue funding, by all means, go for it, okay? It can dramatically speed up how fast you get started. Just don't go overboard. Remind yourself that this is your first time. This is your first time in this business. You don't know everything. You still have a lot to learn. So going gung-ho may not be the best idea. The only people I can confidently tell to get as much funding as possible are our clients, obviously, because in those cases, we control the inputs, and we've done this hundreds of times now. Obviously, if we control the markets, we control the units, we do the negotiating, we source the deals, we vet the deals, we run the numbers. Like, I don't really care how much funding a client wants to get as much as they feel comfortable with, because we're in control of the money, right? We know what we're doing. So it's whatever. But for doing it on your own your first time, like, you got trial and error to go through, right? So does it really make sense to have use other people's money on doing something for the first time? Maybe not. Moving on, I can't name them specifically in this video, I asked, but we do partner privately with one of the largest funding providers in the industry exclusively for our clients. That access is a big reason why some of them have scaled to 20 units, 30 units so quickly. But this is a little bit different than I said, because we're not working with people saying, oh, we'll get funding, oh, come join us. Like, we don't even want you as a client if you don't have enough funds. But when clients have onboarded with us, they've had a few properties, they feel comfortable, they're like, yeah, Aiden, like, yeah, let's get some funding. And, I've proved I'm making money, like, let's grow this thing kind of thing, then yeah, of course. Because as I have right here, their access to capital now, their new unlocked capital, combined with our expertise, becomes a lot of money made fast. So if you get funding, I'm all for it. Just keep it simple. Don't go overboard. Give yourself proof of concept, right? Prove that you can secure a unit, you can make money, you can run the numbers, you've got something tangible. And then from there, if you want to get funding and copy and paste it, then yeah, I support it. I can't really talk because I made a bunch of stupid mistakes at the beginning. I like quit my job on a whim. So maybe I'm not the right person to tell you to take risk, don't take risk, any of that. Just trying to give you guys some context, Next, we have what we're going to actually be covering in the business credit and funding section. So maximizing funding and credit limits. So how to set up your business so banks see it as stable and low risk before applying. Preferred initial funding, which is credit cards, because credit cards are the simplest way to access starter capital. They are fast, flexible, and do not require outside investors or complex financing or private lending, anything like that. Strategic use of funding for Airbnb. So how to deploy business credit in this model without overextending, including what to use it for and what to avoid. And the additional business credit perks that you get. So outside the obvious access to funding, the perks using credit provide to you as the owner, which I said in the first video, right? One of the constraints of this model is it's very cash intensive, but by putting a lot of that cash, of that upfront capital on credits, right, you get a lot of perks. And for my Canadians here, how business credit works differently for Canadians operating in the US and my recommendations. As you guys know, I'm a Canadian, so I've done a lot of that stuff. Maximizing funding and credit limits. So at the beginning, because your business is brand new with zero credit or history, the application is going to lean heavily on your personal credit regardless. These steps don't change that. They're simply just ways to increase your chances of and potentially the amount you get approved for. As I mentioned earlier, when you register your business, you have the obvious option of setting it up as a real estate company of some sort, which I generally lean towards recommending. However, if your goal is to maximize funding, having your business name and activity on paper be a bit more generalized can increase your chances. If this is your first time in business, first time, doing anything like this, just be a real estate company, okay? You don't have to do this stuff. This is just stuff that I've picked up along the way in business that, looking back, does make sense. Banks inherently assign a higher risk profile to the real estate industry. Because of that, structuring the business under something broader like general management consulting or even real estate consulting instead of a narrowly defined real estate company can help from a funding standpoint a fair bit. So hypothetically, if someone were applying for credit and wanted to maximize the chances of higher funding on the application page where the NAICS codes are listed, I would hypothetically recommend marketing consulting services or management consulting services. These are just generalized business activity. I have something similar in Dubai right now. And remember, this is just how you are positioning the business while it's being built. It's not what it will look like or could look like at scale later. A natural change in business activity is common for new businesses. They become something else organically over time. So this isn't like unusual. Or just use the standard real estate NAICS code in the application and move on. Like, this isn't a make or break. I can't stress that enough. You might get a bit more funding if that's a top priority, if you go through the management route or more generalized business activity. If it's your first time in business, just simplify, just get started. You have a real estate business, and let's move on. Regardless though, depending on how much capital you have, one thing I always recommend is transferring money into the business account and letting it sit there for at least 30 days before applying. Allowing funds to season, for lack of a better word, in the account easily strengthens your financial profile on paper and maybe make a few transactions. It's just so like when the banks look, as you didn't deposit the funds 12 hours ago, and then you're there, you know what I mean. It can also make sense to work with a funding expert depending on your situation. They usually take around 5%, I've found, typically only after approval, often from the card itself. And in return, you get access to account managers and relationships you wouldn't have otherwise, right? You get to leverage them. This is just one of those things where if cash is your constraint, this might be the unlock. Because if you pay 5%, you get access to $100,000 in capital, make a strong profit in the first year. Do you really care about that 5%? Like, it's just a numbers game. And that was the unlock. You paid that 5%. That gave you the money that allowed you to create this cash flowing business, all because of that measly 5%. So it's just a numbers game at the end of the day. Now we're going to talk about credit cards. So there are many funding options out there, like lines of credit and home equity lines of credit and all of that stuff. But the easiest and most accessible for most people is just plain old credit cards. On top of that, many offer 12 months at 0% APR, which means you could deploy the capital and pay no interest during that period. Remember what I said about not going overboard, but used correctly, this is ridiculously powerful, like ridiculously powerful. If you take the right deals, you can pay the balance off within that window and pay nothing in interest. So in simple terms, you use the bank's money to fund your cash flow for free. And in a scenario where you aren't able to pay it off within that initial window, it's also possible to open another 0% APR card and just balance transfer the amount, effectively giving yourself another year. This works because even if a card is maxed out, when the balance is at 0% interest, there is no interest drag on the business, meaning it has no impact on your credit health. You have 0% utilization. It's like, hypothetically, say you go max out your 0% APR card on furniture and something goes wrong, you take the wrong deal, whatever, you didn't get the return period that you were looking for, you can just get another 0% APR credit card and balance transfer before that first 12 months is up, and you just extended another year on free 0% interest credit. With all the obvious upside and potential here, it's honestly hard to find many reasons not to do this. You're probably thinking the same thing. And to be clear, there really isn't many. But as someone who's been in business long enough to make so many mistakes with money, it's not even funny, to the point where I've spent tons of nights awake thinking like, how the hell did I even get in this? And how am I going to get out of this one? Just remember, credit is still credit, and this business is still new to you. You're in financial debt and learning debt at the same time, something to consider. That's all. With that being said, when the time comes to apply for 0% APR cards, whether that's now, next year, a few years from now, whatever, these are the three I recommend. So the Amex Blue Business Cash, the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited, and the Chase Inc. Business Cash. Don't apply all at once. Apply once at a time so you can balance transfer if need be. And when going through these applications, there are a few general rules of thumb that help you land on the higher end of funding for the automatic applications without triggering any extra scrutiny or follow-up questions. Number 1, industry type, you want to put other. Number 2, number of employees. So 3 to 5, I would say just put 3. And then annual business, 125K to 200 and let's say 50K. I have 225 there. If you pump up these numbers too high in your first year, you are going to trigger extra scrutiny where they actually will want to learn a bit more about your business, see maybe some transactions, stuff like that, because you're applying, But if you have it like this, I've found, and this worked for many clients and many people agree with me, this will get you on the higher end of the automatic application just from filling this out. Like, I know people that have, with decent personal credit, obviously, they have gotten like $50,000 like in the 0% APR just from this, just from the online application page. And you can get that as well if you work with an account manager, you go into the bank and stuff like that. But to just get that from punching in some numbers with zero scrutiny online on the auto application, it's pretty good. If you do get a call, guys, just say, yeah, I have a short-term rental business. We have 3 employees. That's it. And then they'll approve it. It's just some guy overseas doing his due diligence, right? Now I want to talk about the strategic use of funding for Airbnb. So each business will have its own set of constraints that can limit growth. For Airbnb, the biggest one is that it's capital intensive by nature. Each new unit requires fairly high upfront costs. So if you're not careful with how you deploy your funds, you can take an amazing deal and still run out of cash before you're able to keep scaling. An example of this is, let's say you get a home run house. It's an amazing deal. The ROI over the next 4 years is absolutely insane. But I mean, if it took all your capital to set up the property, then I mean, you have no money. You have no money until it comes back in your wallet from that investment. You're bootstrapped. And we'll go into this as the course unravels, but you do want to be strategic for the first year on the deals you take on. If you do have specific goals like 5 units, 10 units, 15 units, it requires a bit of finesse on taking the right deals. I'm not necessarily talking about ROI. I'm talking about ones that you know will bring cash back into your wallet fast so you can snowball. So slightly different. A good contrast would be something like a service business where fulfillment costs are mostly just your time and effort. With Airbnb and all brick and mortar businesses, right? Restaurants, gyms, all that stuff, you deploy the capital upfront to build the machine. Then the machine prints cash over time, as opposed to someone paying you and then you're just doing something, right? Or a SaaS or an AI. Like with this model, we have to create the golden goose that will make us or keep laying eggs. And we just keep creating golden gooses that keep giving us eggs. The largest expense is furnishing, but there are also hard costs like rent, security deposits, paying your setup team. Because of that, the most strategic use of funding is putting furniture on credit and using cash reserves for everything else. With the 0% APR credit cards I was just talking about, or just low interest in general if you have other funding, this makes life easy. You can just pay your largest expense with the credit. And we still do this to this day. Our clients do it. Yeah. Moving forward, additional business credit perks. So by putting these expenses on the business credit, you're also stacking a huge amount of credit card points on top of just using other people's money to make you money. Way more than you could ever generate from just personal spending alone. It's not even close. This isn't the most important part for you right now, but I still want you to think about what this looks like in the future down the road. So here we're outside of our Cleveland setup. I have a YouTube video on this. We set up 10 units in 10 days. It was pretty cool. That was one of the 2 truckloads that we brought. It was about $120,000 on furniture alone, all on business credit. So imagine doing 10 to 20 unit setups. Like we've been up to 30, we've been up to 40 actually. Putting all of the furniture on a credit card, then paying it off immediately with the cash flow that those properties make. The amount of points you earn gets so high that you eventually can't even spend them all. It's just, you really can't. And you can't pull them out. Like, what are you going to do? Get gift cards? Maybe. But like you get to like an infinite credit card glitch. And that's why you'll often see us flying first class, Aaron, Carson, and I, or business class or whatever, along with most fair-sized entrepreneurs. Large entrepreneurs like Dave Portnoy from Barstool always make jokes that they don't even know how many credit card points they have. This infinite credit card glitch. Anyways, the reason that we're upgrading our flights and all this stuff is because the travel is essentially free, right? That's why business class is so expensive. It's either a travel expense write-off or paid for by credit cards. And this isn't like a flex either. Like once you have a few locations and you're doing what I just said, like you will have the exact same thing whenever you travel. You're just going to have points that you can't use anything except for travel, so you may as well use them. There are also a lot of other perks that come with large business credit spend beyond just points. Things like higher limits, priority treatments, better protections, stronger relationships with the bank so you can get even more money, like dedicated account managers, all that stuff. I don't want to go too deep into this because it's like way down the road for you. I just want you to get the idea. Lastly, for my Canadians, the credit side is a little bit different. If you simply open a US LLC, you won't be able to access funding right away. It's just not how it works. You have no personal credit there, and the business just opened, so it doesn't have any credit either. So you're kind of out of luck there. There are 2 things you'll need to do first. One is apply for your ITIN to secure a US tax ID. I've already spoke about that. frugalflyer.com/ITIN. Just go through it, fill out the form, send it off. It takes about 12 weeks to get back. actually, so the sooner the better. And number 2 is apply for a US American Express card and select the option that lets you leverage your Canadian credit history. Just go to American Express, just go to open up a US-based credit card, and there's going to be a point in that application where it asks if you want to use your credit history in your country. Just use that, you'll get automatically approved, and you can start building US credit right away with an Amex, which is convenient. The goal is to start stacking personal credit now, so in the future, you can leverage your US business credit. So the first year, is a little bit harder than that second year, and that third year, you're pretty much on the same playing field as the US side. Frugal Flyer also has some stuff here. US credit cards for Canadians guide. You can just watch that. And then obviously the I-10. This will tell you what I just tried to tell you in a much more efficient, streamlined way. So I would go read that guide. And if you set up a GPLP structure, you have more flexibility because you can just use your Canadian company for credit. In that case, you can go to all the big 5 banks and apply for credit cards within a few days of each other. They won't be able to ping the credit bureaus fast enough to see that you applied elsewhere. I've done this. I know some people that have done this. A bunch of our clients have done this. This lets you access significantly more funding. So if you go to like TD and then RBC and then Bank of America within like a few days, right? They don't get to ping the borough fast enough where one can see that you went to the other. So you end up just getting max level application funding across the board, right? Since you have the GPLP structure where your Canadian company owns, blah, 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 you can fund the businesses. Since your Canadian company is part of that structure, right? Your GPLP, those funds can be used in the US. So the interest is higher, but it becomes a numbers game, right? If the return outweighs the interest, then it makes sense. That's the end of it. Then in year 2, you can start leveraging the US credit side. So you have your first year, it's a little bit slower, a little bit higher interest. You use your Canadian funds. You get your business off the ground. You start doing good. You pay it back. Right around that time, the 12-month period comes, 12 to 14 months. You have your US side picking up because you have your personal credit and your business starts to have some transactions and it's breathing life. Then you start on the US side and you're off to the races. That's it. To summarize this video, this is what I want you to do. Number 1, lock in your business identity. It's fun. Make your name, your logo, your branding, your email, all of that stuff. 2, I want you to form the business to make it official. LegalZoom, Zen Business, whatever. Just go through the steps. All you need to do is grab your EIN after. 3, we're going to open up your business bank account. Again, you can use Mercury, Chase, Bank of America, your personal bank that you've used for a while. It's not a big deal. It's just business bank account. 4, if you pursue funding, keep it simple. You're doing this for the first time. That's it. If you want help with any of this, host vacarya.com/book. We will handle everything I've spoken about from the start of this video, A to Z, quite literally, and we will give you a cash flowing Airbnb within the next 30 days. As always, testimonial.io/Vacarya. If you have any honest feedback or want to share your experience, the link is here. The link is below the video. I hope I have been of value to you here, ranting and rambling for the last, I don't even know how long. Next up, we have finding a profitable market. I am really excited for this one. I will see you in the next video.